Trick or treat.
Good evening, scumbags.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
There's you got something here?
Here?
Yeah. Right there. No. Just all over. Yeah. Is that normal?
This is it. I spent 4 hours on makeup on this.
It makes the audio sound so amazing.
Can anyone understand me?
Oh yeah, I can understand you. Just like
Right.
sounds like this.
Perfect. I'm going to do an entire show like this. What if I did this? Anyway, guys, happy Halloween to those of you celebrating.
Hello. Welcome to the Rebel Scum SPOOKcast.
I'm James Razile. This is
Brocksmith.
And we are going to do an entire show for you, Halloween specific.
Yep.
Ish. We're still in the news, but we're going to talk Halloween. We're going to talk scary Star Wars moments.
Yep.
Is Snoke Frankenstein? Is Poe Dameron a zombie?
That would make so much more sense.
It would so much. Actually, have you seen the description on the Japanese website where it says both the First Order and the Resistance fear Poe?
I have not, but that makes sense because he is the greatest pilot in the entire galaxy. So.
That's true. Also, there was new behind the scenes because you can't get enough behind the scenes reels dropped yesterday. Mm-hmm. Did you watch that?
I have not watched it yet. I've just been busy. I would like to watch it, though I know you're not going to watch it, correct?
No, unless you guys out there say, James, you must watch it and discuss it.
Yeah.
I will not watch it. I think I'm done. I don't want to watch the TV. I've said this, the international trailer for The Force Awakens, I watched, and I didn't want to, but I did because the screen grab for it, the thumbnail, was a shot of Rey with Kylo Ren's lightsaber. And I was like, well, I've already seen that. I might as well watch this trailer now. And it had so much more. And I mean, look, I've bought a ticket for the movie already. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to sell me anymore. It might need to sell you or somebody you know or people I know still have to be sold on it. But for me, I just don't need it. So I'm good.
Right.
Yoda's going. He's in the movie.
Yoda.
By the way, good job on this. Brock did all this set work. These are pumpkins here.
Yeah. This is spider webs because I'm terrible at cleaning.
They're actually reals, but I walked in and there was a spider crawling.
I've been saving them for 8 months.
Guys, we got to talk about something that's happening in a week from now. So this is our 65th episode of the Rebel Scum podcast.
Wow.
Next week is episode 66, and we're letting you guys dictate what we're going to be doing on that episode. And so far, the response has been so overwhelming on Facebook, on the comments here, and the emails we've been getting. You can email us rebelscumbags@gmail.com. That email is in the description below. You can get it there. And it's awesome what we've been getting from it. We're going to do a t-shirt giveaway also. It's going to be an extra small t-shirt.
Ooh, extra small.
Extra
That's
small.
spooky.
No, it'll be your size, whatever.
Not
your size. Their size. And we're gonna do that, but you guys are gonna dictate what we're doing. We've been putting it together. I'm away all this week.
Thank
so
God.
Also, the videos are gonna be a little scarce on the channel.
Yeah.
We will be doing a high ground for Saturday.
Yep.
Which will also be Halloween centric.
Yep.
And and then we'll be back for the 66th episode of the Rebel Scum podcast. And after that will be the road to the Last Jedi, I think. And we're just going to gush over how much we can't wait until December 14th at 6 p.m. fan experience.
Sweet.
And we're going to hopefully do a commentary on The Force Awakens before Last Jedi.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really do that. So you need to book a week off. we need...
You need to get a job and relax.
Actually, I have a few jobs. So anyway, also like and subscribe, please. And this episode, there's the title for this episode is going to be Halloween episode.
Halloween.
So if you guys could spread the word on this one, that would be appreciated because YouTube's going to hate us. Do you know our first Rebel Scum podcast we put on YouTube
was Halloween?
Yeah,
last
it was
week,
our last week. Our 13th episode, the Halloween one, it was up on October 28th. So it's been this has been on YouTube for a year almost now.
Ooh la la.
Which is kind of cool and whatnot. But anyway, let's go on to the crux of the matter.
The crux. The hux.
Have you seen the trailer for Fox's New Mutants?
Yes, I have. And wow. That was not what I had heard that it was going to be a horror film. I'm like, okay. But when I watched it, I was like, oh, man.
Are you going to watch it?
Yeah, I'm going to go see it because it's like, I love X-Men. Check this channel later for Brock's X-Men podcast.
Well, I don't know much about New Mutants. Is it horror?
No, not
I didn't think
whatsoever. So. It was just a different offshoot of the X-Men. They wanted to have like a new version of but they started young because like the original X-Men were like teenagers, but it was like the 60s, so they didn't feel like teenagers. This was in I want to say the 80s, and they felt more age appropriate. It wasn't, and they were good stories. Like I think I have the first couple issues of like the run, but like yeah, it's been big. Like so, if you know characters like Cannonball, Wolfsbane, Sunspot, that's where all those guys came from.
That's cool.
So yeah,
I know a little tiny bit about New Mutants, but yeah, it surprised me. I saw the trailer and I said, "Wow, I don't know if the trailer didn't blow me away. I'm not gonna say it blew me away or anything."
Yeah, no, but just like, it's
a different direction.
They're for sure. And you know what? I think it's a good move because Marvel doesn't own X-Men right now, or Marvel Studios rather. So it's owned by who? 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, Fox has
Fox.
the rest, yeah.
And they're doing well. I mean, with the new trilogy of that, they've done well. So, but like, they've seen what Marvel's doing with like stuff like Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Thor. So they got to try something new, and I believe that's one of the reasons they put out Legion on FXX or FX, which it's one. The character is a very not unknown character, but like he's not an X-Men. He was more of a villain at times. So, like, to have that show be that show, and then it's very cerebral, they're definitely trying new things, I think. And I would love to know how they landed on making this one a horror film, but it looks like it's like a Shutter Island.
Yeah.
What's that new one that came out with Dane DeHaan or whatever his name is? Anyways, yeah.
Valerian? It looks to me like this is almost an offshoot of Logan, like where X-23 was created. Like it's kind of like not exactly the same, obviously, but like it takes place in that right. kind of like environment.
Which would have made sense to like chain those together because there was like I believe there was one of the like kids that Laura's trying to find is named Richter, and he comes out of sort of the New Mutants, maybe more X Factor, but like that character kind of fits in with these characters so it would have been kind of cool, but then you kind of spoil it because you're like, oh, here's all our cast right here.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, and for all their flaws, Fox really has only had 2 bad X-Men movies. I mean, Apocalypse is kind of bad, but really, if you think about it, like they have a better, I would say their positive percentage is way higher than their negative. I mean, even like the bad X-Men movies, Origins aside, like X-Men 3 is bad, but it's still kind of watchable.
Yeah,
like it's not like
parts in it you're like, yeah,
like it has moments, and that one I think was the production time. They only had like 7 months to make it, but like, Origins is terrible. I like the Wolverine. I like Logan. Yeah. Apocalypse is pretty bad.
It's the problem with these movies is they try to take on these massive like comic events like the Rise of the Phoenix, the Apocalypse, Days of Future Past, even Civil War to an extent, or they want to put out the new stuff. I get it, to bring in people and then also show them comics, but it's just like, well, you don't have to follow the comics. You can still have the original X-Men trilogy was good without it, but yeah, like. I'm very interested because even when you think about like Logan was a huge departure from what they used to do, and now they've announced that there is going to be an X-23 Laura movie. So
anyway, moving on to Star Wars. The reason I brought that up is because when Rogue One was announced, like it's going to be a war film, and then Force Awakens came out, and something happened with Rogue One where they said this is not the right direction. And they went back, and it was still a war film, but it felt Star Wars. Like, I think they toned down the violence that they wanted and whatnot. And I don't think, and I'm going to say it right now, we did a vote of no confidence a few weeks ago. Andrew and Rob fought on it, and it was, should there be an R-rated Star Wars film? And my stance on it is no. It's for me, it's different from another friend. Like it's Star Wars. Star Wars is, we watched it when we were kids, and we were able to watch it when we were kids.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should take that away from the next generations that are coming up and all. But that being said, it doesn't need to be super clean cut. I mean, I watched Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and Die Hard when I was a kid. Like those were like my movies, and they're all kind of violent. And Die Hard was rated R. But Star Wars, I don't think it needs to be, and it doesn't need to be rated R to be dark. It doesn't need to be rated R to be fun or to change it around.
Yeah.
However, at some point, Rogue One was fine. We're going to have Han Solo, Obi-Wan. How much different is Obi-Wan going to be from Han Solo? How much different is Han Solo going to be from Force Awakens, Last Jedi? At some point, are they going to have to do exactly what you said, what Marvel did with Ant-Man and with Guardians, and what Fox is now doing with New Mutants? And they're going to say, we're sci-fi fantasy. That's our genre.
Yeah.
But the sub-genre now could you ever see a horror Star Wars film?
Hard to say. I'd rather say I could see an R-rated movie because horror falls under that, but also like a movie like Deadpool falls under it, where it's like super violent. I feel like if we were to see a horror-themed Star Wars film, I feel like it would be way down the line, like to the point where like people are like, do something else, do something new, because like. And it wouldn't be... You couldn't take a character that you love to it. You couldn't put Han. You couldn't put Luke in it. You couldn't put Rey, because inevitably a horror film, like... the characters are either brutally murdered or, what's the word? When you're, they're, anyways, I can't remember the word. But you know what I mean? Like, you can't have a character like Rey go into a horror film and then have another movie with her after, because it's like, well, how is she normal now because all this weird stuff happened to her?
See, I agree it would have to be later on, but I wouldn't put a character that we know in it either,
no.
Unless it's like a side character. But think about this. Let's say in 10 years they're like, we're going to do an Order 66 movie, and it's going to be horror. Because that, if you think about it, you could do a cool action movie with that, but you could do a really cool horror film. Order 66. You could have Jedi, like Kanan type thing, where he's a young Jedi alone and he's being hunted, but he doesn't know what he's being hunted by, and it's like an Inquisitor or something. But he doesn't know he's being hunted by, and it's just there's a threat, and it's just really scary and dangerous. And there doesn't have to be blood and gore in this at all, because I mean, this year I would say, as of right now, my 3 favorite movies this year have all been quote unquote horror films.
What are those?
They are It, Get Out, and It Comes at Night.
That's right. And
Get Out has no blood, a little bit of blood.
A little bit, yeah, but it's not gory. It's more like, God,
it's more thriller.
It's cerebral.
Yeah,
which is what I was gonna say. Like a Star Wars film that's horror would have to be cerebral. In a sense of what we think New Mutants is gonna be like, or like a Shutter Island, where it's like, oh, that's creepy. Like I think maybe like something with the Sith. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's where you could go super super dark just right off the bat.
Old Republic, you can go, not Old Republic story, but like go back in that time, where the Sith are kind of a big thing.
You're a Jedi detective and you're going to go search a Sith temple that just got found. Yeah, there you go. All you have to do is just have some kind of Force temple. Let's just make it Sith for ease. And the Jedi goes in and just doesn't come back out. And that's the movie. You're done.
Yeah, and well, I mean, they're doing it with Screaming Citadel. They did it with the books, Death Troopers and Red Harvest. They've had Star Wars horror, and I know people. I don't know how Screaming Citadel was received. I didn't read it. You read it. Well, I read the first one. I still have it. I have to give it back to you. It's not bad though. I mean, there is a market for it, and there's an opportunity for it. And if I would say, if they want everything to connect, if Obi-Wan's going to connect to the blah and blah's going to connect to blah, then whatever. But if they're just going to do movies that expand their universe, that you don't have to necessarily go back and watch the other ones, I would say go for like a Sith temple would be kind of cool. Like they're in there and just being haunted by some like demons of Sith from the past, being hunted. Like I said, the Order 66. there's like the Star Wars universe has a lot of scary things in it.
Yeah.
It's all alien. Technically, it actually is literally alien. And there's so much you could do, and I would say, and you could do it on a lower budget. And I don't know if Star Wars necessarily wants to go that route. Maybe they put it on their streaming site later on for Halloween.
Exactly what I was just gonna say. Like the easiest solution to do something like that is make a movie and then put it on a streaming site like Netflix. But if it's in the future, it'll be Disney's thing. Because I think people are more into trying random things when it's on a streaming site. Like, I'll watch this because I'm paying for the whole thing. Might as well watch as much content as possible. So, yeah, I think that's how it would be.
The other day, I posted this on Facebook. I'm not even ashamed of it. I watched DreamWorks Spooky Stories 1 and 2 because there was a Monsters and Aliens Part 1 and Part 2, and I had to watch them both. So I watched all of them, and I was sitting there watching it because it was available to me. But that's where I think if you want to do subgenre, horror is, and it's such a huge, like, look how much it made. Get Out.
Yeah.
These movies make money. And they don't cost money to make. And I know Star Wars is the big budget fantasy and what we're saying is a huge faux pas. But if you have a streaming site, you want to expand your brand, why not expand it too? There's a pocket of people that are not watching Star Wars because they don't like fantasy, they don't like sci-fi, they don't like fun times in the theater.
Yeah.
They want to go in, they're going to watch it, they're going to watch Jigsaw, they're going to watch all these types of films, and you're not getting some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the crossover I think is bigger than I'm making it sound. But you're not getting them, so why not just expand to that?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Emperor Palpatine, how little we know of him once he has power. Like in the original trilogies, he looks like a goblin. Like,
yeah,
what would it be like to be in a house that he owns, where he's like nobody can do anything. He's full control. He doesn't have to hide who he is. Like, that'd be so weird.
Yeah, and I'm not saying do what Death Troopers did and have zombie stormtroopers.
No,
I just mean psychological, cerebral horror. And I think it fits in the Star Wars universe. We saw Clone Wars did a couple scary episodes. Like there are elements that are terrifying that you can bring to the forefront that people would be like, oh, I'm going to watch that. And then all of a sudden you have every year you're going to sit down and you're going to either rent it or you're going to buy it and rewatch it or you're going to watch it on Disney's streaming site or whatever. You're going to have this horror movie that people are like, October 31st, like, let's watch the Star Wars horror. Yeah. And then someone's like, there's a Star Wars horror? And you're like, watch it. And then, and if it's good, which I would, at this point I would take a guess and say it would be, all of a sudden people are happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because horror movies and Christmas movies, we won't get into the Christmas movie, but these like horror movies, if you don't like horror movies, there's still an entire month dedicated to horror. And at some point, you're probably going to watch something horror in the month of October.
Yeah.
You watched the Babysitter thing on Netflix. Yeah. You liked it. But that's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
But still, you don't watch horror.
No.
But it came out, when did Netflix put it out? October.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched Cult of Chucky because Chucky is the greatest icon of all time. But I watched it. I just watched Insidious, and I was terrified, and it wasn't that scary. But I was terrified. Mm-hmm. But it was October, and I'm like, you know what? I want to watch a horror movie, get in the Halloween spirit. And I did. And if there was a Star Wars one, that was in. That would be
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Every time. What do you guys think? Do you guys want a Star Wars horror film? Comment below.
I could argue that like there's Clone War episodes that are scary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got Force Ghosts. That's kind of they're not mean Force Ghosts, but why couldn't they be?
Well, they could be. What, like, we don't know. Well, Darth Bane shows up.
Right.
And
he's kind of freaky.
He's freaky. And, who else? What else is there in the... There's so much you can do, especially because Clone Wars exists. Yeah. That you can just throw it in. And by the way, if anybody watched I Rebel yesterday...
I did not.
I mentioned how Gary Whitta has a man crush on Wedge. So I did tweet Gary Whitta. He tweeted me back. He confirmed it.
Wow.
Man crush confirmed. Well, if you haven't seen the Rebel episode yet, every episode he's doing of Rebels, I think, has had Wedge in it. And this one, literally, the beginning starts with, Wedge, you're the greatest pilot ever. Like, it's literally like flat out like, Wedge, you're so good. And he does not in the rest of the episode. Like, it's just like, you did a great job, Wedge.
Gary Whitta wrote one of the stories in
Certain Point of View.
In Certain Point of View, I can't remember if it's the Wedge one.
It's the first one, right? It's the Antilles one.
Is it?
Captain Antilles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that was a side act bar. I think a horror movie would be good. I mean, I don't like horror movies. Like I said, I don't think there's a place aside from Darth Maul getting split in half. There's not a place for blood in Star Wars. There's not a place for gore. We don't need a serial killer, but you could have a horror movie set in the Star Wars universe, much like New Mutants is doing with the X-Men universe.
Sure, why not?
I mean, what do you have to lose aside for how much could it make? How much could it cost? $100 million?
Yeah.
Like, because
you just slap that Star Wars logo on something. It's going to be, it has to, like I said before, I think they need about like 3 or 4 flops before people are like, it's a Star Wars on it.
And we're going to talk about in the news. They're not going to get that from Last Jedi. That's not going to flop. Han Solo is the question mark.
Yeah.
I still can't see that flopping.
No.
Because, like I said, someone I know from Vegas came up and he said he had no idea there was a Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
He goes, what's the next Rogue One?
Yeah.
And he was really excited for it.
The internet is panicking, not the world. Like, that's the thing. Like,
when I told him it was Ron Howard, he was like, "Oh my God, that's the greatest thing ever."
Yeah, exactly.
He had no idea that they fired people, and side Akbar still, but they spent 5 months reshooting the movie. The whole thing was reshot, so there's no panic on it. They were like, "We don't like what you did, Ron Howard, Uncle Ron, come in here, just make a movie."
Exactly.
Yeah,
my parents are probably like barely, like maybe faintly aware of what's going on in Han Solo just because I'm their son, and my dad reads a lot, so maybe he knows a little bit. But like,
your dad's like, Opie's doing the new Han Solo movie.
Exactly. I don't think. Yeah, it's us, the fans going like. I was like, but again, we're not the people you're trying to sell to.
No, and I honestly, I'm gonna go see Han Solo. I'm excited for Han Solo.
Oh, yeah.
When it first was announced, I was like, why? And then I realized. Like I've said this on the show a million times. I've read those books. I've read the Han Solo books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why would I not want to see a Han Solo movie?
Exactly.
He's my favorite character. Like, why would I not want to? So that's where I stood on. I ended up just being like, no, I'm all in on this. And then when they fired the directors, I was like, that's kind of weird. But then you hear what's going on. It's like, well, maybe they did the right thing. And everyone was like, Kathleen Kennedy's the worst. She's making all these mistakes. I think no, I don't think. I think the problem is they jumped the gun a little bit on getting these things made more than anything. They're kind of like, we have to have a movie a year. It's got to be a movie a year.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be a movie? We were used to getting them every 3 years. Now we're so spoiled.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the problem. Is we're so spoiled. And I love Rogue One, but would it have hurt to have The Force Awakens a year off The Last Jedi?
No, it wouldn't. It would just be my parents were like. Now my parents are waiting for a Star Wars movie every Christmas.
Yeah, which they're not going to get next year.
My parents just, my mom's like, oh, we should just go see a movie on Boxing Day. That's a thing in Canada.
Yeah,
but
in England, I think.
England, not American.
They have like Black Friday and Good Thanksgiving and
Good Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean, they get like a week off. We get like, here's your Monday.
Yeah, that's American though.
I know.
But anyways,
discounts.
So I think and people are complaining that Lucasfilms are not fulfilling their promise of taking chances or showing us something new. So a movie like that is completely new. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, and you know what? If they're afraid of it, why not a Star Wars horror video game? We were just talking about video games last week. That is such like if you can use that as your market, like test audience. Yep. Be like, we have this game. It's a kind of a. You could do like an Until Dawn style game, where it's actually a movie and a game all in one. Right. That would be so cool. But it's a horror.
Yeah.
And then you could do even more in a video game. But apparently Star Wars isn't concerned with video games, as we discussed last week. So what is it? Because apparently that Visceral game is just shut down now.
Okay,
like,
perfect.
Like they said they moved it and going to make it something else. Now apparently it's just like done. I don't get it whatsoever. But I am excited for Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Play me November 14th. Petsafina. Battlefront 2.
PS4.
Yeah, it's better. It is. Yeah, Xbox sucks. It does. The worst video game system I ever had was the original Xbox.
But that
also Microsoft. Whatever. I won't go any further. But they should. Knights of the Old Republic is now backwards compatible on Xbox One.
Yeah, I should try that out.
You should.
We'll do a video. What?
Yay.
Content.
Yeah, I'll be playing Super Star Wars because it's the best.
All right. What's next?
Let's move on to...
Never Tell Me the Odds. That's a spooky version of Never Tell Me the Odds.
This is a spooktacular episode.
Spook.
First odd. The odds of the Yuzang Vong being brought into canon.
Oof, that would be amazing. I didn't read a ton on this. He's not a Yuzang Vong. I didn't read a ton on this, but I knew enough to like know what effect they had on the expanded Star Wars universe. I think they're cool. Maybe don't tell the same story, but put them in there. Why not? Yeah, it was awesome. I didn't give it odd. I hope 80%. That'd be great.
I'm going to go 10%.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to because, like you said, it won't be the same story. I think they're going to create something new out there, and I think it's going to be Snoke, and that's going to be that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see them doing it. It would be cool, though. I'd be down for it. The odds of Obi-Wan appearing as a Force ghost in The Last Jedi.
I'm optimistic. I want to say 60%. I know that's not really optimistic, but I kind of want it to happen.
I'm gonna see. I don't know. I'm gonna go full Brock. I'm gonna go 41%. Full Brock's a cop out. I'm gonna go 41% because I want him to. I think he should. We heard his voice. Obviously, there is some kind of connection there going on. Whether or not Rey is a Kenobi, who knows? Who cares? But it would be nice to see him Force Ghost. Is there a point to him appearing as a Force Ghost?
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. Like, if Yoda's going to show up? Is there a point for Yoda? Are these being forced in? I don't think they would. But he does talk to Rey in The Force Awakens, so you would think that there'd be a reason for him.
Right.
But I'm going to stick with 41% because story-wise, where does he fit? I really think Anakin's going to, whether it's just voice or spirit, whatever, I think we're going to get Anakin. Yoda seems to be all but confirmed. How many Force Ghosts are you just going to throw in there for the sake of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
But then again, with the Obi-Wan movie, this could be like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? And the odds of Snoke being a Frankenstein-type character.
I'm going to go 75.
Wow.
He looks weird. It doesn't have to be exactly Frankenstein, but like there's something happening with that look. I don't know.
Like Dr. Frankenstein or Frankenstein the monster?
Frankenstein monster.
I'm going to go 70%, 71%. I think he is... I think there's something similar. I think that's why GameStop had his figure listed as Victor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Way back. So I really think that is... I think that is why they chose that name, because of Victor Frankenstein. I'm gonna stick with what percentage did I just give it? 99%.
99.
I think it's got a good chance of being that, because why not? And it makes sense. And we've never seen that in Star Wars before. And if you've read the Screaming Citadel, they've been kind of the vampires in that they kind of like they kind of are toying with these in a way that makes you want like. Look, if you were like James, I just bought Archie comics.
Yeah.
And now every Archie comic I ever do, it's all going to be connected. I'm going to make an Archie movie, an Archie TV show. Everything's going to be connected. Why would you bother putting vampires in Archie if it's not going to somehow pay off down the road?
Right.
It doesn't have to be a vampire, which goes back to our horse story, but it doesn't have to be a vampire, but the element of that is now in your universe.
Right.
That's what I think on it. And I don't think that often. What up, Star Wars?
What's up, Star Wars?
This is the part of the show where we Google Star Wars, and we find out that nothing happens until we hit upload on this. All right, what's up, Star Wars? I typed in Star Wars, go behind the scenes of The Last Jedi. No, thank you. Why Finn is back in his First Order uniform. No, thank you. Star Wars Last Jedi video shows Chewie getting coached. Watching it. Yeah, so... Oh, CNN wrote an article on Rebels. The Goldbergs' 100th episode tackles Star Wars versus Star Trek.
I feel like the Goldbergs have a running Star Wars theme throughout.
I have never seen the Goldbergs. Who's surprised with that?
I haven't really watched it either. I do watch Me, Myself, and I, which is a new show on ABC or
Bobby
CBS.
Moynihan.
And it's
John Larroquette.
And the guy from the kid that plays Ed Ed? No, not Eddie. The short kid that breaks his arm. He's the younger version of the same character. And there's a whole episode about how he loves Star Wars, and that he comes out. They like the young story is they sneak out of the house to go see Phantom Menace midnight screening, and then the Bobby Moynihan story is how he's showing Star Wars to his daughter for the first time, but his stepfather shows it to her instead. But it's the Phantom Menace again. And then the third one is about how John Larroquette almost goes to space because he loves Star Wars so much because it's in the future. So yeah,
that's cool.
It was a cool episode.
Here's something that I found. It's not that new though; it hasn't dropped. But Star Wars fans think Boba Fett is alive in The Last Jedi. Apparently, there is a leaked image. A Reddit user pointed out that a few leaked images for upcoming 2018 Star Wars toys clearly depict Boba Fett flying out of the Sarlacc pit, apparently shooting his flamethrower at it. While the leaked images don't prove anything and may not end up being real official Star Wars products at all, it is an interesting choice. Why show Boba Fett flying around the Tatooine desert at all, much less next to the Sarlacc pit, unless he's making some kind of comeback post Return of the Jedi? This is from Inverse.com. That's where I'm reading this article. It's Inverse, and it was a Reddit user. I don't know who the Reddit user was. But anyway, because I don't really know. Oh, I guess this article was originally on everyone's favorite movie web. Andrew Fantasia loves that one. But anyway, nothing is dropping, so stand by for something to drop while we upload this episode of the podcast. Yeah, definitely happening. And books and comics. We're not going to do anything for books and comics today, are we?
No, it's fine.
We're not going to. Check us out Saturday, High Ground. We are going to discuss the horror Star Wars novel Death Troopers.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, let's go on to Hollow News.
Hollow News. Do 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 do. Okay, first story. Oh right, I don't have a link for this. Star Wars Last Jedi is going to make a ton of money.
They're projecting it at $215 million opening.
That's crazy.
Do you think that Force Awakens was 250?
Yeah, okay.
So this is 215. Do you think that makes sense? Do you think it'll be higher or lower?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's going to be higher. The real number is going to be higher. But we do have to take in consideration that maybe people are sick of Star Wars movies. Because even though we love them, maybe they're like, the last two Star Wars movies were garbage. I'm not going to go see this movie. So maybe that'll have an effect. But yeah, this is a foregone conclusion. But that's cool. That's what the number they figured out.
Yeah, I don't think that it can beat The Force Awakens. I was talking to Rob on Friday about it, and I was like, I think low 200s is what I was thinking.
Why?
Well, I think The Force Awakens was an anomaly. That's a movie that everybody was excited about. You're not going to get that 2 years later. If they waited 10, 15 years, then you might get it. There's no way it's going to pass that.
Yeah.
But then you look at the ticket sales, and it did quite well. The trailer is the third highest watched trailer of all time, so that shows it didn't beat it. No. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I think. Anyway, it's the third highest, and The Force Awakens is number 1. So it's like the third or fourth highest. So that tells you right there that the excitement for this movie is not what it was for The Force Awakens or for a movie like it, which is fresh. Even though it is a remake, it's a remake of a 27-year-old movie. The trailer looked really cool. People were obviously word of mouth came on, and we've talked about it. There's been a few people that, because first it was my dad, but then there's a few other people that said that some people were very excited for it, and other people that I've met have been like, it actually kind of bored them. Yeah. In some ways. So, I mean, as cool as we thought the trailer was, did it sell the movie the way it needed to sell the movie? We'll find. I think, and we've said this before, this is going to be a movie that I think people are going to, let's say, is the best Star Wars movie of all time, and then people are going to absolutely not like it at all. Because it's not going to have the fluffy fun of The Force Awakens. I think it's going to have more of, it's going to be not darker, but it's going to be a little bit more on the depressing end of things. Right. So that's why I think it's going to be a little bit lower. But we'll see.
Next story. Battlefront 2 just released, what was it, this weekend? Their campaign trailer. It's very cool to look at. I always don't get excited about these campaign trailers because they show more cutscenes than anything else, because obviously it's more visually interesting. But it has been announced that the campaign should take about 6 to 8 hours to play out, which is, for this type of game, I don't think that's too bad, because it's like you're basically just wanting to play things over and over again anyways. So But it would be very nice to see what the campaign's going to be. And oh, great. I'm glad you played that right then. So, yeah. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Campaign trailer. Very, like, the visuals are very cool. So, I'm very excited about just watching the story. And if you don't get the game, then wait, like, I don't know, a couple weeks after the game comes out. I'm sure someone will post all the cutscenes. And I think it's going to be very engaging. Next story. No, green screen. Sweet graphic, bro. Ryan Johnson recently mentioned that he could have done all the Octo scenes for Last Jedi on a green screen, but he preferred to go to Skelling Michael Island in Ireland just for the authenticity.
For a vacation.
For a vacation. Wow. I don't know how fun it is to be there, but yeah. So he said he could have done it, but to get the real effect that all Star Wars movies tend to have, that realness, even though there are a lot of, especially the prequels, were shot on a studio. But I wasn't overly surprised by the story because the first thing we've ever seen for Last Jedi was Ryan Johnson standing.
Yeah, I thought this was a weird story.
It's it's an interesting mention though. It's yeah. So he could have done it, but he didn't. So that's cool. Next story. Admiral Holdo? Is it Admiral?
Grand Admiral?
Vice Admiral?
Vice Admiral.
Holdo. What was the story?
She appeared on Ellen.
She's going
to be holding a weapon.
She's going to have weapons because apparently she had a hard time not going pew, 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 pew when she was shooting the pretend gun. So, and then this visual here, I think just came out last week as well. So it's kind of cool. It looks like she's definitely going to be someone that everyone listens to, obviously, by her stance. A lot of people. I believe the reports are that she's a little higher on the food chain than Leia is. They're definitely gonna butt heads, probably with Poe as well. And of course, it was a couple months ago that she said that she will be a lesbian. She'll be lesbian. She will be a lesbian, which cool. That's awesome. I hope they don't make a point of it. I hope it's just like brief mention like I gotta go see my wife. I gotta go see my partner, and then that's it. Like in passing, because like Star Wars isn't a movie where you have to stop and explain everything and everyone else. It's a world where it already exists and people are just like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, I mean, there's also the possibility that it's not even touched upon.
Yeah.
I think it might be, but it might not be because is it revealed in Leia that she is? The Leia novel? So that's the thing. If it's revealed in like a novel, then it's just a backstory and
I gotcha. Yeah.
You know, because everyone in Star Wars is kind of like asexual anyway.
Yeah.
Like, no one I mean, except for Han and Leia and Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
And maybe Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. Okay, there's a list. And the droid behind her. Come on, there's gonna be
it's a cool pick.
But the cool thing about it is your favorite line of Poe Dameron's about BB-8.
Oh, BB unit, white and yellow, one of a kind. Not so much. Well, but maybe all of them have that kind of color.
But see, so far we've seen BB-9E, this thing right here.
Yeah.
None of them have been the same color as BB-8. So maybe BB-8
is one of a kind.
Is one of a kind.
But I also throw this out for fans. I was wondering why she's all purple. And it made me think of Mon Mothma, where she always wore all white. Her hair wasn't white, but she wore all white. So it's like, maybe there's some kind of fun juxtaposition there, like that she wears all the same color and maybe she's slightly different. She's the same sort of stance as Mon Mothma, or like she has the same power, but like maybe, I don't know, purple and white or something. I don't know. Next story. If you were at NY Comic Con, NY New York Comic Con, let's just say it like an adult. You might have seen that Star Wars was showing off some cool props for The Last Jedi. And for some lucky fans, when they went into the exhibit to look at it, they were locked in, and a troop of First Order stormtroopers came in and said they were under arrest for being part of the rebellion. And I believe someone came out as Kylo Ren and all that jazz. So they got to see a real cool, or have a really unique Star Wars experience. Check it out on YouTube. I believe it's called... what is it called? NYC Star Wars something something something. Kylo Ren surprises at New York Comic Con, something like that. Just search it. It's pretty neat. That'd be awesome to have experienced, but whatever.
Yeah, he didn't come to Fan Expo.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't much mention of any props being hugely important, but whatever.
No, it was kind of cool though because they took like a picture of you when you went in. Then there was a screen and it said "wanted" and have like the individual's face.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams said this week that his script will somehow combine all 3 trilogies together. So episode 9, something's going to happen, or things will happen that will make all of the movies bind together in some way. Hopefully something huge, but yeah. Which is not too far-fetched to believe because, when you see Force Awakens, there's mention of the past, obviously. There's of both the prequels and the original trilogies. We hear Ewan McGregor do his Obi-Wan in the the Force Vision with Rey, as well as what's his name, Frank Oz as Yoda. So it's not far-fetched. We don't know to what extent it's going to be, but I think we should trust that JJ will do a good job. Of course, we'll get backlash on that, but that's his plan. He's going to try to make this all connect.
So do you think there is a possibility with all of this connecting that the connective tissue could be Snoke, and this idea of Snoke creating Anakin and the prophecy of the Chosen One? Do you think that could be the connection?
Sure.
Because then you're connecting to the prequels without even really touching the prequels.
Yeah, sure. Because he says he's been around since before the Empire, or just the whole
rise
thing?
And fall of the Empire. He was there when when Ben Solo was born. So there's a lot to Snoke and Rian Johnson said we're not going to get much Snoke in this, whether backstory or in physical form. We're not going to Snoke is going to be there obviously, but he's not going to be, he's not a huge part, and I don't think he's going to touch on too much of his past. So if you're connecting the prequels with it, what better way to do it than this character that you have, that you created, that you can go back and say, hey, guess what? In the prequels, when all this stuff happened that maybe you didn't like, the reason is this.
Yeah.
And then he can retcon it whatever way he wants.
Right.
And who's going to get mad at him?
Sure, why not? I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. That's why I love this movie. Top 5! What's our spooky top 5?
Today's top 5 scariest Star Wars moments. Oh, snap. It's really scary.
Number 5, when you put the mask on! All right, what's your number 5, Darth?
I don't know. My number 5 are zombie stormtroopers from Death Trooper's book.
Oh, so it can be anything Star Wars.
Yeah, I decided that.
Oh,
just
thanks.
The reason being is because zombies, Death Troop. I mean, they might actually. I mean, they probably would never bite you because they'd miss. But
so weird. Eyes are looking at me. My number 5 is Palpatine becoming a Pumpkinhead in Revenge of the Sith. It's just like, yikes. It looks so weird when he doesn't have the hood on, and it's probably not exactly what he looked like in Empire or Return of the Jedi. So,
my number 4 are the bugs from the Clone Wars. I watched that one and I was like, this is creepy, and I've watched it a few times since, and I'm always like, yeah, that's gross.
My number 4 is basically Jabba's palace, because that place looks like it's from nightmares. There's just gross slime everywhere. There's a rancor in a cave. You could just be in a dark cell and a Chewbacca comes out of the shadows. It doesn't look like a fun place. And if you gave it to someone like Eli Roth or Rob Zombie, it would be a nightmare place to be in. What's your number? You said
My
number
3 is when Luke fights Vader on Dagobah in the dark side forest, but that's not the scary part. It's when Luke's head is in Vader's mouth. Yeah. That is creepy. I remember being a kid being like, "That's creepy."
My number 3 is also that. Dagobah. Just Dagobah in general is pretty creepy. Like this little gremlin comes out and tells you stuff. It's like, I'm not afraid. You will be. You
it's
will
true.
be.
Dagobah's a great place.
Cool. I love it. I love Dagobah, but it's just when you first watch, you're like, yikes.
Number 2 for me is the Wampa attack
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see it coming, and then he swipes him down and knocks him out. And
Yeah.
that's, for me, that's... And then, we got Han getting to rip open a Tauntaun, which looks like the inside. If you ever have an orange and you cut open an orange, it looks... The inside of a Tauntaun and the inside of an orange look very similar.
And he thought they smelled citrusy on the outside. Number 2 for me is yellow Sith eyes. Anakin's eyes are weird. Emperor and Darth Maul right here. These are creepy eyes. Does this hurt?
Don't poke me in the eye. I have to see like this out of my nostrils.
Did you say number 2? You said...
Yeah.
Okay, my number 1 is... What are those things called? Mynock attack in the asteroid field. When they realize this is no cave. But I remember just like... You just see something flutter by and like... Wah! And that is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in Star Wars.
My number 1 is when Luke is looking out in Tatooine and the Tusken Raider appears.
Oh, yeah.
It still makes me jump because I'm a wuss. That's my number 1. I am. That makes me jump. Well, what do you guys think are the scariest moments in Star Wars? We probably didn't touch on any of them, but and do you guys think there should be a Star Wars horror film at all? Good question. I don't know. We'll put, you know what, on the top, that side of the screen right there, there'll be an eye, and there'll be a vote for a yes or no to a Star Wars horror movie, because it might be fun. I think, if Han Solo is a Western and Obi-Wan is like about Schmidt, I don't know, then you could do a horror movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and the one thing that's going to have to eventually happen with Star Wars is they're going to have to break free of Han Solo, of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, Rey, blah, blah, blah. They're going to have to be like, good, look, this is a Star Wars film with this person. You do not know who it is.
Yeah.
Just trust us on the brand. Because the brand is the star, ultimately. And I think that is what, once Disney, Lucasfilm kind of trust in that, and then we believe in it, which I think we already kind of do. But once you have that, then you throw it out there, and you see what sticks.
Yeah.
Take a chance. I don't know. But I have no problems with what they've given me so far. But it's Halloween, and I thought talking horror would be a good idea, because I know you love horror movies.
I do.
Next week, Order 66.
Oh, no!
You guys are in charge of it all. Brock, I'll be sending you that bit of info later on for that. We've gotten, honestly, so much. You can still, put it on the Facebook page, Rebel Scum Podcast on Facebook. Email us, Rebel Scumbags, and let us know what you would like us to talk about on the 66th installment, Order 66. And if you want Andrew Fantasia or Darth Ward to do anything, let me know, because Andrew's we already got something for Andrew to do, and he's not excited about it, which makes me excited for it.
Ooh la la.
All right, guys, that's been it for the 65th episode of the Rebel Scum Podcast. Have a happy and safe Halloween.
Yeah.
And may the force of others be with you.
Always.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.